Oh yeah, sexy biscuits. Nice.
Long boy clothes, 1975. A YouTuber's on the rise. Reviewing games late at night and sometimes friends. But Long boys clothes, 1975.
This is Primal Rage. I'm running this on my A500 Mini, but it was released in the arcades by Atari in 1994. Pretty sure you're all familiar with Primal Rage. It was that stop animation dinosaur digitized fighting game. That was a mouthful. Think Mortal Kombat, right? But with dinosaurs, and it's done with stop animation like Ray Harryhausen. It's set in a post-apocalyptic world where basically all these big-ass monsters, dinosaurs, apes, whatever they are, whatever you can see there, are worshipped as gods by people. Well, immediately that looks a lot better than I thought it was going to look. So yeah, obviously it was set to capitalize on the success of Mortal Kombat. And from what I can remember, it was a pretty big deal. It was successful. There was going to be a sequel. There are videos of very early playable stages of the sequel, but it's kind of an entirely different game. You morph into people or something. But anyway, I never saw this in the arcade back in the day, but I would have been all over it because massive fan of Jason the Argonauts, massive fan of Clash of the Titans, basically anything Ray Harryhausen did. Also, growing up as a kid, friggin' loved dinosaurs. Right, so this was released on absolutely everything. This version on the Amiga is by Probe, so it's either going to be amazing or it's going to be shite. But basically, back in the day, this was released on the 3DO, which I have, which is a really good port, Saturn, PlayStation. They're probably going to be the best ports, 32-bit versions. There's a Jaguar CD version, Mega Drive, SNES, Master System, Game Gear. It was released on everything. I'm playing this because I want to see how well it performs, because it's safe to say this was a bit too much. I mean, you could argue so was Mortal Kombat, but I mean, there are decent ports of that, but this was probably a bit too much for the 16 bits. It was certainly a bit too much for the 8 bits. Is there a Game Boy version? But I mean, hey, it happened back in the day. This is set to oh, there's a 32X version as well, isn't there? This is set to 2 buttons. I'm not sure how that's going to work because obviously you need a lot more buttons. Tint the arcade. Fire. Start training game options. We'll go with game options. Right. Difficulty. What? Why do you... I have an option screen where I have to drill down instead of going to difficulty, and underneath it says easy or medium difficulty. That's a bit stupid. And my setting is in numbers. Okay. Credits. What's an awkward option screen? Round time, damage modifiers, score switch on. Oh, that's right, because obviously, you know. Oh, it's on, sorry. Yeah, you know, unrealistic dinosaurs taking damage was too much for them kids to take. Sound test. To be fair, it's the Amiga, you would hope it had good music. I'm assuming there's an Atari ST version. Well, having said that, this is 1995, so probably not. The Amiga is in long... So would this be a CD32 version then? I don't know, there was a DOS version as well apparently. We're in long dead Amiga territory now. Okay, chip effect. What, no fart noise? Done. Do I want to train? Fuck it. Right. I mean, for 16-bit, I'm not saying it's, you know, fucking painting, you know, a Da Vinci paint or anything, but for a 16-bit, it's not butt ugly. Everyone played with him, didn't they? Sounds awkward when you say it like that. Sauron. Wrong movie. Right, Sauron, Blizzard. No animation? Loading. Because of course. Hey, not too bad. Right. Right, so fire on its own appears to be jump. No. Right, you have to... hold fire and then press a direction, which is awkward. He's got to build his ass correct. Hey, the animation's alright. Can you eat the people in the background for health? Anyway, top left and top right, that's our health. And to do with the heart is, I don't know, it's got a weird health system. And then beneath that is like your power up, rage bar, whatever it is, which I never understood on any version. To be fair, I think I've only ever played the 32X and the arcade. And that was probably on the Midway collection. I mean, yeah, it's not terrible graphics. It'd be interesting to see how it compares to the Mega Drive. Yeah, good luck with me trying to special move. I wonder, why do we both jump to the floor? Is that like a participation medal with the dinosaurs? You know, don't feel bad. Hey, I'll jump down with you. Society was just as full of liberalised pussies back then as it was now, apparently. Only they were dinosaurs. Oh, I could punch him in the air when I'm going to just try and throw him. Ooh. I keep wondering when it does that little twang there, it wants to break into Black Sabbath. How did I do that massive, probably too strong of a scripted term, well, I thumped him and he actually bled. Well, that does it. So it's now finishing moves, because look, his heart's exploded. It's probably all the excitement from this incredibly realistic and lifelike graphics. I literally think I'm staring at real life. If dinosaurs existed. And apes. Big apes, I should say. Joe Young, big prehistoric apes. Got away from me. Start. Am I on training again? Do you know? Choose a character. Press fire. We're going to go with him because I seem to know kind of somewhat-ish what I'm doing. Armadon. I guess that's because he's armoured. I see what you did there. Backgrounds. They got... Well, they haven't got parallax. Did the Mega Drive have parallax? That's because that would be the most obvious comparison for this, wouldn't it? If you know what I mean. How do I do special moves? Is it me who's got the farts? I mean, come on, I know, like, kids and shit. Although you could argue that this game wasn't aimed at kids. But that's just stupid. Oh! Ooh! I've got Mr. Tasty Frosty Breath. Which I have no idea how to do. Which doesn't matter, apparently, because I'm still winning. I have turned it down to 5, I am aware of that. Right, now let me in. Oh, so his heart explodes from the sheer excitement of this incredibly realistic game. But I'm just stuck there. So are there finishing moves? Are there not finishing moves? And where's the blood this feather came from? Right, I'm just standing here and doing this, and if you so happen to get in the way... I was going to say, it's got Rise of the Robots AI, but nothing could have that shit AI. Or maybe it does. Here you go, kids. Game-beating move. I'm going to see. I have to see if I can do it now. I mean, I take a little bit of damage. As long as he remembers he's got a tail. How do you eat the people in the background? Do I actually care? To be fair, I'm not saying this is going to change your life, but it's a lot. I really didn't know what to expect, which is why when I saw this, I thought I have to download it. But it's better than I thought it would be. Oh, is that because we're out of time? I don't care. But you know, it looks better than I thought it would be. Doesn't mean it's a good game. It's not an amazing game in the arcade, to be fair. This whole, we have to do something like Mortal Kombat, but we can't be like Mortal Kombat, so we have to go in a completely different direction. Dinosaurs. It doesn't play amazing, is what I'm saying. I might have to revisit the Mega Drive now. I do like my moonwalk. And I've lost the ability to do any different moves. Yeah, no parallax is a bit poor. But then having said that, I'm just amazed we got a game on the Amiga in 1995. Although Gloom came out around about then, didn't it? Right, the second button is jump, apparently. This is set to 2 buttons. But if the second button's jump, then why does it still have up? It's mapped to jump. do I care? Why have I lost it? I can't do any moves. Is that punishing me for being a dick and just doing the uppercut? Could be. Could be. Hey, Stonehenge is still around. Good to know. Hey, look, it's millions of years in the future, but they still won't let you go anywhere near Stonehenge unless you're a druid. Bastards. Right. So it's directions and fire. Obviously, because we only have one fire button. And I just can't do anything. Get up, you pussy. Oh, do I have to hammer? That's the one. It's so awkward to get moves going. This is why they're extinct, even though this is set in the future, I'm aware of that. Oh, crack. Double crack. Right, so forward and jump and then down, right and fire seems to be my massive haymaker if I'm in the air. Only I'm not going to continue, I'm going to go with someone else. I mean, if you love this in the arcade, I know, I always say this. If you love this in the arcades back in the day, like, you absolutely adored it. And the only machine you could play it on the Amiga, because you still had one in 1995, sucks to be you. I guess you would have liked it. I can't remember what it plays like on the Mega Drive, but I know the Mega Drive has 3 or 6 buttons, so it's got to be better than this. Maybe I'll do a Mega Drive versus SNES. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll get a white stick. But yeah, I think in 1995, if I had an Amiga, which I didn't because I had a PlayStation, I would have just accepted my fate of not being able to play a decent version of this. However, I will say, it did a reasonable job. I mean, it looks like the arcade, kind of, somewhat-ish. Did it have 2 buttons? Right player, 1 button. Oh, sucks to be right player, but then to be fair, sucks to be both of you if you've got fucking Amiga in 1995. And that's not to say I hate the Amiga, because I don't. Obviously, I love it. I've shown it a lot of love, thanks to my A500 Mini. So your 2-button config does bugger all. Oh, bollocks, what did I do? I think we'll have to reset. Right, let's try that again. No Scooby whatsoever what I did there. Once again, they're loading it in. It reminds me that this was made in 1995. Wow. Amiga game in 1995. Right, start. Oh, I'm on difficult. Shies and balls, can't go back. Vertigo, Talon, let's go with Sauron. Shouldn't I be on the left? I'm just saying, fighting games, shouldn't I? 1 player? I don't know. I like this background. See, it is him who farts. Right. Yeah, so it's directions, because you've only got 1 fire button, because button 2 jumps. So jumping is also done with button 1, so your button 2 config game is fucking pointless and a waste of a button. This is not a game you can jump into if you don't know any of the moves. Look at his little slap with his little bitchy hands. Oh, that's adorable. Someone get him a bow. This is awful. I thought he threw up straight up. No, again, that was his heart exploding. This is not a game you could jump into without knowing the moves. Also, this is not a game that should be played with 1 button. Alright, easy there. I mean, there are clearly a load of moves. Look what he was doing. Get your hands off me, you damn dirty ape. I'm pressing everything, and it's doing fuck all. Yeah, seriously. Unless you're going to release a 6-button pad for certain titles. Although Mortal Kombat 1 and 2 play alright-ish. Some games, yeah, unless you're going to release the proper pads. Mind you, the CD32 was out at this point, wasn't it? So look at that, that's got a proper pad. But some games do not need to be ported if you're only going to fuck around with 1 or 2 buttons. And in this case, you could have done 2 buttons, but you only fucked around with 1 button. Shame on you. We'll have a look at one more person. Positives, it looks alright. But again, having said that, I need to play the Mega Drive version and see how that looks. Because the thing is, this was not going to do... basically, the arcade had huge sprites. Chaos. What's the difference? Are we brothers? Mates? Buddies? Co-op pals? No, fuck it. We'll go with Talon. Because he's cool. That shows up the colour palette there, doesn't it? It really does. Oh well. We live, we don't. We didn't own an Amiga in 1995. We were lucky. Oh, look at me, I got speed. And nothing else. Flying kick. That's right. Dinosaurs have flying kicks. That's the real reason they're extinct. All those carbs. That's just pointless. This is just shit with 1 button. This is just tits. And not tits in the positive term I like to use it, as in tits great. This is tits shit. Mind you, it's on the Game Boy. You've only got 2 buttons there. I'm doing everything I can to see if I can do a special move. And I can't. I can die though. Who wants to see me die? There you go. Don't say I don't spoil you kids. Alright, show off. That's kind of cool. Is that a sample from the arcade or just some bloke with a hoarse throat doing it in the studio? Right. He's got nothing in the air, like a... How the fuck do you do combos? There are supposedly combos in this. 1 button doesn't help, obviously. And apparently I've only got light attacks. Christ, you're a shit god, deity, something. Made up individual from a fictitious book. Oh. Well, there you go, Primal Rage on the Amiga. Very, 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 very late game. I mean, I guess you could say it's reasonably impressive, the fact that it does bear a resemblance to the arcade and it's clearly stop motion and digitised, but it's rendered utterly pointless with 1 far button. Anyways, always I love to know what you think, especially if you played this back in the day, because this was your only way to play it and you loved it in the arcade. Or played any of the other versions. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.